So what a day it is, Foz, and what a great practice ground.
Well, it doesn't get much better, does it? Perfect weather here at Pineris Altus. Great range, we're on grass, guys are looking after us brilliantly. Short game area, we've got absolutely everything that the Zen boys need, don't we?
For this performance, the fitting centre.
TI.
So we've got Pineris Altus to thank for this.
Two key things for me. One is just making a mental note of the difference between practice and a warm-up. Don't get the two things mixed up, really. If you're warming up for a round of golf, just warm up. You know, it's a very different thing. So first thing I do is make a conscious decision on what I'm doing. So here we're actually practicing. We're not playing this afternoon. Well, we've already played this morning, so we've actually come here to bring these two amazing minds together.
Three.
And well, I was thinking mega mind for you. So that was just amazing. That was just amazing for us.
So you're not using a warm up before you go out as a practice session, because you're going to start introducing interference, and it's just going to get you it's going to take your mind off the game as opposed to switch you onto it. So a few shots just warming up, and
yeah, I mean, I would literally straight away. You want to feel of the club in your hands. It's basic stuff, but you want to feel what it's doing. I've got to target this white flag here. I mean, I'd literally just go, probably first shot, just trying a little draw into it, just as a warm up.
As expected, called it, played it. The infamous line mistake.
So I'll bring you in. Yeah, mate, that's all right. Yeah. So I only use this for just my tendency is to my path to be out or across that way.
Yeah.
This way. So it just
out to in.
It stops me being lazy. Is the honest thing. So it just makes me straighten my ball flight up.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, that's to me. I mean, like you say, I am warmed up. I mean, once I hit a shot like that, I'm ready to go to another club, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
But it might be 4 or 5 more if I hadn't. We've been here for hours, so we are warmed up. Exactly the same feeling.
Nice. So Mark's tendency, as he mentioned already, is to swing left, and then when his face rotates to that path, he starts getting the ball starting left, and then it just pulls.
He doesn't like it.
So making sure that we're working this way, so essentially just shifting or tilting the swing direction that way. So post impact, Mark's feeling more this way. Well, not feeling, physically is, but for him, he's got associated feels with what he's doing. He can very precisely adjust. He's got a very acute sense for what he's doing, so he can feel this, but this is not doing this.
No.
The club's not on the left, and the handle on the right. It's more like this. So you've got, naturally the club's going to work round the body, but through impact, post impact, you've got the club outside here, and the handle will naturally come round left. So it's more like this, as opposed to this.
And again, I mean, those 2 shots, well, once I feel I've got my path, back to the board feelings, I would then probably just add a little bit of vertical in afterwards, once I've got my path, because, for my tendencies, I can't put vertical in if that's going that way. So, I mean, straight my next shot after that good stride would be exactly the same, just with just a little bit. Same path, and just get out of it a little bit more. As you see, the first 2 quite steady, so just go into that.
That's a great stride.
But I can't do that until I've got, for me personally, I can't do that until I've got my path where I want it.
So what as you know, with Zen Golf Mechanics, external focus is the key. That also includes, we can include the golf club. Although it's part of the body map, you can class this as an external focus because it's not physically you. And then you've got this, which is external. So you're essentially moving this in space in relation to that in space. And that movement you're creating is something you're organising. And that Mark's obviously skill level allows him to do that with high precision. So but he's starting to recognise where he is in space in relation to the golf shot, the target, his face, his path. He's starting to use his spatial awareness in a very applied way. So the session is tailored for attuning himself. So we've put that tennis ball there just to make it, just visually really for the camera, but also feel-wise, just so so what Mark was talking about earlier was using that vertical, using that sense of timing of when he's pushing off the ground and what part of his foot he's using.
Yeah,
so
exact same feeling.
He'll put that ball in the place where he knows he's going to get maximum push off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. For me, it's right on the ball. For me, I think most good players would be, to be honest. It's right on the ball. It's the best.
That's where you're going to get that propulsion.
Yeah, almost. You know better than me. Just the bottom of your big toe there. I think that's where you have to push off from.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And exactly, you know, I'll be 2 shots there straight away. I'm like, well, if I'm hitting it like that, I just gotta go longer. You know.
Yeah. So don't spend too long dwelling on the swing and trying to groove it. If you've got it, you're good to go. So move up the set. Often we can get bogged down trying to get that what we think is consistency and trying to groove it or grind it, if you like, and get this movement like hardwired. But actually, when your body's performed it and you've done it a couple of times, you know where to go. So Mark's already stepping up. I mean, that's a big step. What we're now at irons are.
Gone 3 here, but again, we are practicing this, so we're doing a warm up. But we have been here a long time, so and I've not hit anything long yet, so I'm going to go 3 iron. Again, for the simple reason I want to push myself, and if I have a tendency again with these, it's to stay in.
Yeah.
So you know, while I'm getting up, I want to see.
Where do you feel when we know about where you're pushing off? When do you feel like you're pushing off and going up? Where do you feel you are in the swing?
For me, sequencing. So you know, I like to, as we discuss, or everyone, get a good rotation back. Just get that. Give yourself that second there and then out.
Yeah.
I don't like it straight from the top, because if I do it straight from the top,
yeah,
it wants to go left for me. So
path goes left, and everyone can associate with that. Most people have a path that's left. We see week in, week out golfers who want to draw. Obviously, we're really talking about drawing the ball here. So it's kind of the path goes left because the sequencing's out. So this is helping to just reorganise, retune that sequencing.
And obviously, as I use the term exam, the longer the shaft, it gets more difficult. So yeah, you're pushing your limits again.
Brilliant.
I don't know.
Timing wise.
So whoever gave me my lesson this morning's done a good job, whoever it was.
I don't know. It was the teaching pro here, I think. You can see he's obviously shifting his body to allow him to move into a place where he can push. So he's not really touched on that, but he doesn't need to, because you don't have to go into complex detail about the golf swing. We already know it's been overanalyzed, so it's kind of, don't overanalyze your own swing. Just, you've got to feel, harness that. Don't over egg the pudding, really. It's like once you've got a sense of what you're doing, that's enough. Just move up the set now.
I used an analogy to you earlier. It's a bit like taking a car for a service. If the car's running well, you still have to get it serviced. It's not in long for a service. If stuff starts going wrong, you've got to, you know, like when I first arrived, I got that out because I was starting it left of the target.
Yeah.
So you know, using that term car service, I've had to get that out to straighten my path up. You know, once my path's straight, I can then get on with golf.
You're on it. Your mind's there.
So it's just learning little things about how you straighten your own faults out. Yeah.
And we played this morning, and what's important is that Mark talked about from this morning. So he was hitting it a bit left. Well, he played great, but there's been a couple of shots where it's been working left. So he takes that now from the course and brings it to the practice ground now. That's his purpose for coming. And then he's structured what he's going to do to get himself back on track. So it's the same for all of us. It's all relative. So there's the warm-up, there's the practice application, and then essentially it's like in green light state here, where you kind of just go play. Just go see the shot now. Yeah,
it's just like a quick check-up for me, and then you're ready to go on the course. Yeah, exactly that. I think one more. That's quite nice for me. That
just giving him that little sensory feedback.
shots on the ball again. That's the only reason, well, for me, censorship, but it just gives me the feeling of that extra second there, and then just working out what you're pushing off for that vertical.
So it's giving him reference of where he is. That stimulus is so important. It's finding the right exercise for you.
So they're spot on, so I'll remove that now, to be honest, and try and recreate that feeling without that being there.
That just drifting in, it's perfect, isn't it?
Coming in, so yeah, I'd a few drivers now, and I'd be good to go. But the other thing to note as well, we've touched on this, club fitting's so crucial. I have my bag, so I don't feel like I've got to make any different swings with any club, you know, which is not an easy thing to sort out. But that's something we're going to look at very soon, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to do club fitting. You carry 4 wedges, don't you?
I do, but it's amazing how many people say to me, and it's not easy, but they buy a club and then they try and fix the swing so they can hit the club. And in an ideal world, which I said to you, which I went to Mizuno Irons, and I've done for a while, because they were the company that fitted the club for my swing, and that was the key for me. So I know if I'm on, don't have to swing any different with any club in my bag, and that's when you can be in a good position. I feel
comfortable. It's really interesting what you were saying earlier about the look of the club. It's like, to be honest, if you were saying if it feels good and the strike's there and the shot's there.
Yeah, I might give an example. My 3-wood.
It's doing its job, isn't it?
Yeah, my 3-wood is probably 18 versions old, but it's a real niche club 3-wood, especially in Tour, because the par 5s are 580 or whatever. You need a 3-wood that's going to go 270 yards, and they're not that easy to find. So a lot of people don't change the 3-wood. You know, Stenson's the classic 3-wood example. The same one for 20, 30 years or whatever. It's the same thing. Yeah, if you've got, just because something new comes out, doesn't mean you've got to put it in. Something's working.
You find what's right for you, and if it's working, it's right for you. So sometimes we can get drawn by the aesthetics. So like magpies with shiny things, it's like, oh, look at this. It's like, this is the brand new tailor-made club. I want that, or the brand new Ping, or whatever Callaway, whatever brand it is. But it's always good to make sure you find a club that's suitable for you.
If it's doable and it's fitted properly, there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with it. But there's a danger in just buying something, then coming to the range with it, and then making yourself work around that club. Whereas if a proper fitter will fit the club around your game.
Well, there's plenty of players who've swapped equipment, isn't there, and the games have dropped off and stuff like that. And I think it's the same for most people as well. As you change your equipment, it's a big thing. So of course, going for those nice brands is good, but don't make your decision before you go. Try them all and find what works for you.
It never changes.
And here we go.
Brand new Epic bags. But for once, this has actually improved my driving, so it's in the bag. Depending on the course. If you was on tour, the last club I did is what club I was hitting off the first tee. But the last, the ultimate stretch is the longest, club, and probably and it's the hardest to control.
So you could warm up all the way through to your driver and then drop back and play the club you're going to hit off the first tee.
Yeah, like on tour, if the first hole's a 5-wood or whatever, I'd hit my last 2 shots with that, but I'd push this to my boundaries with this.
Yeah.
And then go back.
Then drop back to what you're going to be using. Cool.
I think we should play this afternoon,
cool.
and I'll beat you. I think.
Again and again and again.
Let's get out.
Brilliant, Mark. Awesome, mate. That. Cheers. So yeah, brilliant insight that. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Pinero Saltos.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
It's been.
Be sure and follow Mark Foz on Instagram.
Yeah.
Pop it up to Robin.
There's a few tips coming up as well on his Instagram. So check out Foz's socials coming. Loads of exciting stuff happening. Sure you'll be enjoying that English weather while we're, don't mean to rub it in, but have a little pan around and show the lovely Portuguese weather and the lovely facilities. So
And our working day is finished.
yeah, off to the pool now. So guys, hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Very good. Well done, mate.